Hey guys, welcome back to Game Talk 24/7. Today is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. We have a new national champion. The NFL playoffs continue to roll on. More coaches get fired in the NFL and more coaches get hired. We have a whole bunch of news. A player in the NFL playoffs for a team that moves on gets injured and won't be there. It's all right here on Game Talk 24/7. Before we talk about that though, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really means a lot. It really helps out the channel. Also, leave a comment down below. So, John Harbaugh has officially signed a 5-year deal with the New York Giants. So the question is, how far can he take the Giants? I mean, he couldn't take the Ravens to the playoffs this year, and they have more talent than the Giants do as a whole on the team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So, can he take the Giants to the playoffs next year? Can he maybe win a couple playoff games with the Giants? Could he win a Super Bowl with the Giants in the next 5 years and his tenure there with the Giants? That is also when we will see throughout his career with the Giants. He's a very capable coach. He's a very good coach. The question is, can the front office put the right pieces around him to help him succeed as a head coach? Another news, Sean McDermott, the head coach for the Buffalo Bills, gets fired after taking the Bills to the playoffs for like the last 4 or 5 years, but then never winning the game that they needed to win to move on to either A, the AFC Championship. Even though they went there one or two times, they'd always lose to who? The Chiefs. But to move on to the AFC Championship, they lost this year to the Broncos. They lost one year badly to the Bengals. They have fallen short so many times on games they either should have won or could have won, or at least were leading in late and then they collapsed late as a whole. So he gets fired. He's a good coach. He's going to be available for teams are going to want him. He's not just going to sit around not coaching, and teams will want him. Now, Mike Tomlin, on the other hand, when he got fired, not fired, he didn't get fired. He stepped down because he's about to get fired probably, but he stepped down. He's not going to coach anymore, but at least for this foreseeable future of next year. But you know what? We'll find out if Mike Tomlin continues to stay out coaching and if he officially just full-on retires or if he decides to come back eventually. Kevin Stefanski, the former Browns head coach, is the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. He has Michael Penix. He's got Drake London, Kyle Pitts. He's an offensive-minded head coach. He's a 2-time coach of the year. Can he turn that offense around? Can he turn that whole team around? He's got Bijan Robinson, too. Don't forget about him, the best player in that team. Can he turn that team around and get them rolling the way people thought they could be? The Dolphins hired Packers DC Jeff Hafley as their head coach. And the Titans are hiring 49ers DC Robert Saleh as their head coach, the former Jets head coach. Robert Saleh, when he was with the Jets, he had some decent defenses, not great offenses, and not great teams. Can he turn it around with the Titans having a good quarterback in Cam Ward? Well, a quarterback with a lot of potential in Cam Ward and a lot of talent. Him being a defensive coach, can he get the defense to where it needs to be and hope that Cam Ward can continue to take leaps in his career and become the quarterback that we all expect him to be when he was drafted number 1 overall? We will find out. Jarrett Stidham will be the Broncos quarterback now that Bo Nix is hurt. It's a Bo-no scenario. Yes, you heard me. It's a Bo-no scenario. Bo Nix hurts his ankle after beating the Bills. We have more on that later. Mike McDaniel is also expected to become the Chargers offensive coordinator. And so we'll see how he goes from being the head coach of the Dolphins, and a team that's been lackluster the last couple of years, to now being the offensive coordinator of the Chargers. Now, what we've all been waiting for. You have a new national champion, Indiana. They are now etched in the right side of college football history. They are no longer the losingest program in college football history. They are like second or third losingest programs in college football history. But they are also national champions on the back of Curt Cignetti doing one of the best coaching jobs ever in college football. Curt Cignetti is amazing. He's a phenomenal head coach. Indiana will be a powerhouse as long as he is there. Will they win another national championship? I don't know. Maybe. The landscape of college football has completely changed and made it hard to win back-to-back national championships the way it's been in the past. We've seen Alabama and Georgia go on tears. Clemson go on tears. But you know what? They are good, and they will be good, and they are the new kings of college football. They're at the top of college football. They are at the mecca of college football, and it's all what we want to see in college football. We want to see new teams get chances to win. While we may like other teams, we want those teams to win, it is fun to watch new teams compete. It is fun to see them get a chance to win some hardware. It's fun to see new blood show up and battle with the Blue Bloods. And that is exactly what we're seeing in college football with Indiana. Now the question is, will there be another Indiana? Who will be the next Indiana? Who will find the next coach? Who will find the right coach that's like Curt Cignetti, put the right coaching staff around himself, and have the right resources and the right players to go win a national championship? Will it be Will Stein at Kentucky? Will it be John Summerall from Tulane at Florida? Will it be Gullish at Auburn? There's so many possibilities. It could even be someone we haven't even heard of yet. I mean, until Curt Cignetti went to Indiana, I didn't hear of him. So it could be someone I've never heard of. We will find out, though, in the near future or foreseeable future, because it could be someone we're not even thinking of. It could be in 10 years. It could be in 20. We don't know. All we know is college football has changed. The past is not the past anymore, because now we are in the present and in the future, and there's a new landscape of college football. The Big Ten has won the last 3 national championships. The SEC does not reign at the top of college football anymore the way the Big Ten has the last 3 years. You can't say the SEC reigns at the top anymore because of the Big Ten winning the last 3 years. Not saying the SEC isn't good, and not saying they don't have more depth, but I mean, even throughout bowl games, the SEC lost most of their bowl games that they played against the Big Ten. The Big Ten has kind of taken over college football due to NIL and the fact that they have a lot of money. A lot of Big Ten schools have a lot of money. You see schools like USC using a lot of money. You see schools like Indiana now getting Mark Cuban on board. You see Ohio State, one of the most expensive programs in all of college football. You see the trajectory in the Big Ten going up and the trajectory in the SEC kind of staying the same and plateauing a little bit. Is it an SEC problem? I don't know, but we'll find out. But no, Indiana beats Miami 27-21. Fernando Mendoza went 16-27, 186 yards, a 6.9 average, 0 touchdowns in the air, but he had a rushing touchdown. Kalen Black went 17 carries, 79 yards. Roman Hemi, 19 carries, 60 yards. Riley Nowakowski, 1 carry, 1 yard, and that 1 yard was for a touchdown. Must be nice. Must be nice when you get 1 carry, 1 yard, and it's a touchdown. That's all you got to do. You got to do your job. Fernando Mendoza had 7 carries, -8 yards, because sacks also count as rush yards in college football, and 1 touchdown. On the back of Fernando Mendoza, 4th and 5, you have to have it. They call a timeout. Are they going to kick a field goal? Are they going to trot the offense back out there? They trot the offense back out there. Fernando Mendoza hikes the ball. It's a QB draw. But Curt Cignetti says it's not the normal QB draw. They block it up differently than normal. It's a QB draw. Fernando Mendoza, he's running to the end zone. He breaks 2 tackles. He spins. He leaps for the end zone. And it's a touchdown. And that gives them enough of a lead and a cushion for them to win this game 27-21, winning by 6. With 51 seconds left, Carson Beck, he has the ball in his hands. The clock is stopped. He has the ball in his hands. He hikes the ball. He's looking. He's throwing. It's going towards the end zone. And it's intercepted by Jamari Sharp for Indiana. Indiana's defense calls ball game on a punt. Indiana's defense, Kamara and punt team, they block a punt from Miami. And then Isaiah Jones recovers it in the end zone for a touchdown. Then they get a pick to seal the game. He goes down, 44 seconds left on the clock. Indiana just has to knee the clock out. Game time, ball game. Indiana calls it. And Indiana wins the national championship. Now, Miami outgained Indiana. Carson Beck went 19-32 for 232 yards, 1 touchdown, but that 1 interception at the end of the game. His interception prowess rears its ugly head again after SMU in Louisville, and just other times in the playoffs where it didn't rear its ugly head. This time it did, and you see the Carson Beck that most people thought you would see earlier on in the playoffs. And with that being said, Carson Beck, he's solid, he's good, but he's not the guy you want to put the ball in the hands of to win you a game, because he hasn't done that throughout his career. That's not who he is. He is more of a game manager. You put the ball in his hands when you need to throw it, and he throws it. You put the ball in his hands when you don't need to throw it, and he gets you a couple yards, he gets you a check down, and then you get yards after the catch. Mark Fletcher is a beast. 17 carries, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's coming back to Miami next year. He is a dog. He is a beast. He is a phenomenal running back. Actually, he is probably one of the best running backs in the country next year, if not the best running back in the country going into next season. Malachi Tony, 10 receptions, 122 yards, 1 touchdown. So it's not like Indiana stopped Mark Fletcher and Malachi Tony. They got theirs. The thing is, though, Indiana's defense stopped Miami's offense when they needed to with the pick, with the punt, and then the block punt for a touchdown. And then also Indiana's offense took advantage of mistakes Miami made in short field, whether it's making field goals or scoring touchdowns. For instance, Miami missed a field goal, and they went 0 for 1. Indiana went 2 for 2. So that's not beneficial, and that does not help you win a game. Again, Kamara blocks a punt, and then Isaiah Jones in the end zone gives you a touchdown on special teams. They've been doing it all year. They're phenomenal. Miami had 3 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, 2 sacks coming by Akeem Mesidor, 1 sack coming by Ruben Bain. Who else would you have thought? The 2 best edge rushers on Miami, 2 of the best edge rushers in all of college football, 2 most likely first-round picks. They are phenomenal. Indiana, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, but they got the job done. Kurt Cignetti is him. He is that guy. Is he the best coach in college football? Indiana is the first 16-0 team since Yale in 1894. And, Kurt Cignetti said it himself after winning the national championship. You saw him smile. He said he's going to celebrate with a beer. Who knows? Maybe he celebrated with 2. But he said he was going to celebrate with a beer. And he was going to be happy for once. He finally saw him with a smile on his face. And, he's probably been happy all season long. But see, he's never shown that smile. He finally showed a smile on his face. And, he earned celebrating with the beer. Next, you have the Broncos and the Bills. The Broncos win 33-30 in overtime on the back of Bo Nix in the Bono scenario of breaking his ankle somewhere in overtime. And what was the 3 plays I think they had in overtime? Bo Nix went 26 of 46, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. To Josh Allen going 283 yards, 25 of 39, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, Bo and the Broncos could not run the ball. Bo Nix is actually their leading rusher with 12 carries and 29 yards. The Buffalo Bills, though, could rush. James Cook had 24 carries for 117 yards, and Josh Allen had 12 carries for 66 yards. But neither team had a rushing touchdown. Where did the game come down to in the end? It came down to turnovers. Bo Nix had 1 fumble. It was recovered. But you know what happened? Josh Allen had 3 fumbles, and he lost 2 of them. James Cook had 1 fumble, and he lost 1 of them. Josh Allen had 1 play late in the game. He's running. He decides to run. He decides to go. He's like 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. He's still holding the ball in his hand like this. Tuck it and run if you're going to run. Tuck it. Tuck the ball away. Right or left, depending on where the sideline is. Tuck it away. I'm pretty sure he was near the left sideline, so put in your left. Like, what are we doing? He's running with the ball out like this. He gets hit in the arm. Knocked down. Ball comes out. That's a fumble that then goes to the Broncos. Like, what are we doing? You're a professional quarterback. Once you start running, you don't run like this because you can't throw it anymore, dog. You're past the line of scrimmage. You're 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. What are we doing? But, no, for the Bills, Dalton Kincaid at 83 yards, 1 touchdown. Khalil Shakir had 75 yards. Ray Davis, 33. Dawson Knox, 32. James Cook, 24. Brandon Cooks, 20. Keon Coleman, 10 and a touchdown. Miko Harmon, 4 and a touchdown. Marvin Mims Jr. had 93 yards, 1 touchdown. Cortland Sutton had 53 yards. RJ Harvey, 46. Little Jordan Humphrey, 33 yards, 1 touchdown. Pat Bryant, 32 yards. And then Frank Crum, 7 yards and a touchdown. Again, just the turnovers hurt the Bills, especially late in that game. Not beneficial to you. You can't win the game when you have 2 interceptions and 3 fumbles because you're losing a turnover margin. Now, the fact that it was that close shows that they were this close. If they didn't turn the ball over like that, they might have won that game. Now, Deion Walker for the Bills came up with an interception when he intercepted Bo Nix, but also P.J. Locke came up with an interception of Josh Allen, and Jaquan McMillan came up with another interception of Josh Allen for the Broncos. Those are the 2 interceptions to 1, and then you also have the 3 fumbles lost. 2 by Josh Allen, 1 by James Cook. Not beneficial. And then when you also look at that, Broncos went 4 of 4 on field goals, 3 of 3 extra points. The Bills went 3 of 3 on field goals, 3 of 3 extra points. That's why you lose the game by 3. 33-30. And again, it is a Bo-no scenario, though, because Bo Nix broke his ankle and will be out the rest of the season. He is getting surgery if he hasn't already gotten it. And Jarrett Stidham will be the Broncos QB. And, the high school class Jarrett Stidham was out of. He was the number 1 dual-threat quarterback in his class. So who knows? Maybe Jarrett Stidham is going to be something. Maybe not something, but maybe he's going to have that Nick Foles scenario. Maybe he'll be good. But, if you're a Broncos fan, I wouldn't count on it. Again, that is a Bono scenario right there. And now, leading into that, we have the 49ers getting their butts handed to them by the Seahawks 41-6. Wow. 41-6. I mean, I thought we were playing the playoffs, but apparently not. Now, also for the 49ers, they do not have George Kittle. Christian McCaffrey played the toughest season of his career. He played injured. And Mike McDonald, though, at the Seahawks, he's a phenomenal head coach. And he's done a great job there. But, I mean, it was just unfair for the 49ers. Not unfair, but with all the injuries the 49ers were going with, it was going to be hard for them to win this game. Seattle wins 41-6 on the back of Sam Darnold going 12-17, 124 yards and 1 touchdown. Man, he didn't have to do a whole lot now, did he? Kenneth Walker went 19 carries, 116 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's where the touchdowns came from. Not all of them, though, because to start the game, literally, you have Rashid Shaheed returning the ball for 95 yards and a touchdown 6 seconds into the game. Rashid Shaheed said, I came to play. I was ready. And boy, was he, because he took off like the Flash out the gates, and Seattle never looked back. Literally, that literally won them the game right there. Up 7, say with the game 7-6. That won them the game right there, basically. Brock Purdy went 15-27, 140 yards, 1 interception. Mac Jones even had to come in the game. He went 2 of 4 for 4 yards. Boy, oh boy, when you're bringing a backup quarterback into the game, you know it's not great in the playoffs. Brock Purdy had 5 carries, 37 yards. He was their leading rusher. Christian McCaffrey had 11, 35 yards. Jordan James had 6, 28. They really just could not get nothing going whatsoever offensively. And give credit, all credit due to that. They're injured, yes, but all credit due to that Seattle Seahawks defense. It is phenomenal. Cooper Kupp was the leading receiver for the Seahawks with 60 yards. Then Kenneth Walker with 29. Jackson Smith and Jigba held in check with 19 yards, but he did have that touchdown. You know what? If you're the Seahawks, though, there's a scenario you do not want to see later on in this video. The leading receiver for the 49ers was Jake Tongs, I think is how you say that. I don't know. I'm not good with reading names sometimes. I haven't heard his name pronounced, really. So he had 59 yards. Christian McCaffrey, 39 yards. Jawan Jennings with 23. And it was not 4th and Jawan that day because 4th and Jawan, well, they didn't really have that opportunity. But Jawan Jennings with 23 yards. Now, here's what also happens. You have the 1 interception by Bo Nix to 0 by Sam Darnold. Turnovers. Then you have 3 fumbles. 2 lost. 1 by Brock Purdy, 1 by Jake Tongs, or however you say his name. That's not helpful. That's not beneficial. That's how you lose games. The 49ers defense had 2 sacks, 6 tackles for loss. The Seahawks had 2 sacks, 4 tackles for loss. It comes down to, again, turnovers. Also, one team just was better all around than the other. And now you look at it. How many times did the 49ers punt, right? They had to have punted a lot if they lost 41-6. They only punted once. 51 yards. I don't know how that's possible when you lose 41-6, but it is. I think that's the most surprising stat to me throughout this whole game. Eddie Pinheiro went 2 of 2 on field goals for the 49ers. Jason Myers went 2 of 2 also. He also went 5 of 5 on extra points. So the Seahawks dominate and win 41-6. They look like the favorite to win the Super Bowl. The question is, can Sam Darnold's oblique not hold him back in that? You also have the Texans and the New England Patriots. Cj Stroud going, his body showed up to the playoffs, and his body showed up, but his football abilities did not, because he fumbled the ball 5 times against the Steelers. And then in this game, his accuracy and his arm talent that he came into the league with, that he did really well with in his rookie year, and that he did well with in college, and the player that he thought he could be, well, they did not show up because he threw 4 interceptions. Sorry, not 5, 4 interceptions, 1 touchdown, going 20 of 47, 212 yards, 4.5. I mean, it was a turnover fest this whole game. I mean, Cj Stroud's like, hey, are you on my team? Throwing. And the other guy's like, nope, I'm going back this way. And CJ's like, oh, hey, you're on my team. Throw the ball. Then the guy starts running the other way. And obviously, they were not on CJ Stroud's team. I don't know what was going on with CJ Stroud. Again, it's like he thought the other guy was on his team. He thought the Patriots defense was on his team or something. He thought they were all on his team. It was kind of weird. Drake May went 16-27, 179 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But Drake May also had 4 fumbles, 2 of them lost. So Drake May is like, hey, CJ, you going to have a bad game? CJ's like, yeah, what about you? He's like, Just because I'll have a slightly less bad game, but I'll still have a bad game just to help you out and keep you guys in it. I mean, literally, the four turnovers by Cj Stroud to the 3 by Drake May. Drake May's like, hey, CJ, I got you. You're going to have a bad game, I got you. I have a bad one too, just slightly less bad so my team can still have a chance of winning. And that's exactly what happened. Give credit all due to both defenses, though. Both defenses are relentless. The Patriots had 3 sacks, 6 tackles for loss. They had pressure on Cj Stroud all night, even on the interceptions. I mean, the offensive line for the Texans could not block up that pressure whatsoever. And then the Texans defense had 5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss on the back of Will Anderson Jr. with 3 sacks. Will Anderson Jr. is phenomenal. Daniel Hunter had 2 sacks. That's literally their sacks all right there. Will Anderson Jr. is phenomenal. Now, Woody Marks for the Texans also had 1 fumble and 1 loss. He also ran for only 17 yards on 14 carries. That's not great. Nick Chubb, 4 carries, 14 yards. Not great. Wow, that is pretty bad. But, excuse me, sorry. CJ Stroud's gotten worse every single year since his rookie season. He had a phenomenal rookie season. He fell off last year a little bit. He's fallen off even more this year. Again, the 4 interceptions. And that's what you call a CJ oh no scenario. Instead of a Bo no scenario, it's a CJ, what are we doing? You're throwing the ball to the other team instead of your own teammates. Why are you doing this scenario? Like, we're in the playoffs, dog. What are we doing? And again, Drake May tried to help him out because Drake May said, hey, CJ, I got you. Interception, fumble the ball 4 times, but 2 get lost, 2 get recovered. And it's like, hey, CJ, I turned the ball over 3 times. How many did you turn it over? 4. He's like, okay, I did my job. We're good. And she's like, thanks. You kept us in this a little bit. Again, the Patriots win 28-16. The Patriots will probably go on to beat the Broncos because of the Bono scenario and having Jarrett Stidham be the starting quarterback. But no, that is not what you want to see, if I'm being honest. Jamarcus Ingram had the interception for the Texans, and then Carlton Davis had 2 interceptions for the Patriots. Marcus Jones had 1, and Craig Woodson had 1 interception for the Patriots. And then Ramondre Stevenson had 16 carries, 70 yards. He missed part of the game due to some eye stuff, and they're ready to put eye drops in his eyes and them not working. But once he was ready to go, he went, and he had 16 carries, 70 yards, an average of 4.4. The Patriots move on, and the Patriots look like the favorite team in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. The question is, how will the Broncos look without Bo Nix? We'll talk about that later in another video that's coming out this week before the playoffs. That'll come out, I think, on Fridays when we're going to do that video. It says I'm doing this video on Wednesday, sorry. Then the Rams beat the Chicago Bears. This is a scenario the Seahawks did not want to see. The Rams won 2017. They don't want to see the Rams again because the last time they played the Rams, they won on a backwards lateral off a helmet, bouncing into the end zone, and then being picked up by the Seahawks in the end zone for a touchdown on the backwards lateral fumble into the end zone. Lightning in a bottle struck. Will it strike again? Maybe, maybe not. But you don't want the Seahawks to have to go rely on that luck. You wanted the Bears to win. And the Bears still lost, even on the back of Caleb Williams making one of the best plays I have ever seen, and one of the best plays he is of his whole career. Running, scrambling, just going back. He heaves it up, and it's caught in the end zone by, Cole Kmet, who caught it? Let's see, was it Kmet? I mean, that was phenomenal. That was a phenomenal play. I did not see it coming. Yeah, it was Kmet who caught it. I did not see that coming, and then all of a sudden in overtime, he throws an interception. It's like, Caleb, what are we doing? You got us here? Now you're going to throw the interception and throw it away. But you know what? He threw 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, a negative touchdown interception ratio from your quarterback. That's not great. He went 23-42, 257 yards. But Caleb Williams is trending upward, and he's going to continue to trend upward. And, even though you guys lost this game, give credit to the Rams defense. Give credit to yourself, though, for getting here in the first place when no one expected you to at the beginning of the season. Matthew Stafford went 28-42, 258 yards, 6.1 average, no touchdowns, no interceptions. But, he did what he had to do when he needed to do it. Kyron Williams had 21 carries, 87 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Blake Corum, 6 carries, 19 yards. DeAndre Swift had 19 carries, 76 yards. Caleb Williams had 5 carries, 40 yards. Kyle Monangai had 13 carries, 36 yards. Again, I'm not great with names when it comes to reading them. I have heard his name said. Don't remember it, though. There's a lot of names in the NFL, and I do not remember every single one. Puka Nacua also had 2 carries for 6 yards. Let's not forget about that. But Kyle Monangai, 13 carries, 36 yards. And Colson Loveland, 4 receptions, 56 yards. DJ Moore, 52 yards, 1 touchdown. Cole Kmet with the touchdown. Rome Odunze with 44 yards. Kyle Monangai with 36 yards. I'm pretty sure I'll say his name. If not, you know what? I'll butcher names every now and then. Again, there's a lot of names and a lot of different sports, and I pay attention to all of them. So I'm not going to remember every single name. Colby Parkinson, 56 yards. 3 receptions. Puka Nacua, 56 yards. Jordan Whittington, 35 yards. Kyron Williams, 30. Again, it's been all a defensive game mostly. Both teams gained yards, but both teams also did not put the ball in the end zone. Matthew Stafford had 2 fumbles. One was recovered. I think both might have been recovered, or one was recovered, one was lost. I don't know. I don't remember exactly because, again, there's a lot that goes on in a football game besides those 2 fumbles. There's so many plays that happen, and there's also so many good games and so many big moments. Kobe Durant had 2 interceptions, and Cam Curl had 1 for the Rams. The Rams defense had 0 sacks, 4 tackles for loss. The Bears had 4 sacks, 6 tackles for loss. Again, defensive heavy game. The Rams are going to give the Seahawks a run for the money in Seattle. But we will not make a pick on that game yet. We'll make a pick again on Friday's video. Harrison Evans went 2 of 2 from the field goal from the field on field goals. 2 of 2 from field goals and 2 of 2 extra points. Cairo Santos went 1 of 1 field goals and 2 of 2 extra points. And that's again where you lose by 3. You take 1 less field goal than the other team, and that kind of happens. In overtime, the Rams win. Now let's go on to some college basketball. We are done with our Bo Nix scenario and Jarrett Stidham being the starting quarterback for the Broncos. Bo Nix is a good quarterback, but again, Bo no if you're a Broncos fan. You have Kentucky beating Tennessee in Knoxville, 80-78. They are not singing Rocky Top all the way home. Kentucky fans are actually having them sing Rocky Flop all the way home because Tennessee flopped again in their own home stadium. And if you're a Kentucky fan, you must feel good because you have a winning record at Tennessee Stadium in Knoxville the last, 2 years almost? I mean, at the Food City Center, you guys have lost one since 2020, I think, if that. Kentucky's been phenomenal. Led by Denzel Aubrey with 22 points, Ortega with 12, Cam Williams with 2, Malcolm Brown with 3, Andre Elovich with 5, Mohamed Diabate with 10, Colin Chandler with 12, Jasper Johnson with 12, shooting 47% from the field, 46% from the three-point line, and 62% from the free throw line. Kentucky leads the SEC in three-point percentage as a team. Who would have thought a team that struggled to shoot threes earlier on the season that couldn't make it, but the coaching staff was confident that they'd be able to do it, has turned it around and been shooting threes really well and leads all of the SEC and SEC play in three-point percentage at 38%. That is phenomenal. 62% from the free throw line is not going to win you games, but it did in this one, and it got them where they needed to go in this one. They had 14 assists, 29 rebounds. They got out-rebounded by Tennessee 29-36, but they also turned the ball over 3 times less than Tennessee did, which is really what caused Tennessee to lose that game. They also made 3 more threes than Tennessee did and 3 more field goals than Tennessee did, which helped them to win that game. Tennessee was led by Jacoby Gillespie with 24 points, Nate Amen with 17, Jalen Carey with 6, Felix Akpara with 5, Bishop Boswell with 4, Dwayne Brown with 7, Amari Evans with 8. They went 47% from the field, 42% from 3, 69% from the free throw line. They went 20-29. Kentucky went 13-21. So the free throw line did kind of help keep them in it at times, but it also kind of did. What happens in this game? Kentucky's down by 1. They're down by 1. What happens? Jacoby Gillespie, he's dribbling. He goes to pass, and it's stolen. Almost picked off like it's football by Colin Chandler. He throws it ahead to Ortega Oweh. Ortega Oweh lays it in and gets fouled. And 1 is what he says. Ortega Oweh goes. He misses the free throw. Oh, no, it's a 1-point game. Mo Diabate, though, gets the rebound for Kentucky. Kicks it out to Denzel Aberdeen. Denzel Aberdeen is taking his time. He drives. He makes a layup with about 16 to 20 seconds left on the clock. They're up by 3. Tennessee brings the ball down the court. They take a 3. They miss. They get the rebound, but they get fouled with 2.6 seconds left in the game, and they're going to get 2 free throws. Jacoby Gillespie makes the first one. Is he gonna make this and then just hope they can get a steal and somehow something crazy happens? Or is he gonna miss on purpose? He misses on purpose. The ball comes down. Carey for Tennessee. Jalen Carey. He's going for it. The ball gets tipped around. He finally grabs it with less than a second left. He goes up to put it up, and Malachi Marino blocks him before he even gets a chance to get the shot off. And Kentucky walks into Tennessee Stadium and wins in Knoxville. And again, Kentucky fans, they're riding home happy. They're actually listening to Rocky Top on the way home because they like the song for one, and we like to drown our enemy's sorrows. If Kentucky likes to drown their enemy's sorrows by listening to their fight song on the way home when it comes to Tennessee versus them, they like to listen to it as a memory and a remembrance of what they just did at Tennessee. And again, we don't say Rocky Top, we say Rocky Flop. If you're a Kentucky fan, you say Rocky Flop. At least most of them do. Not all of them, but it felt good. It was fun. If you're a Kentucky fan, it was a great game to watch either way. I didn't expect Kentucky to go into that game to win, but you know what? They did. That was a fun game to watch. You also have Cincinnati beating Iowa State, giving their second loss in a row, 79-70. It must be nice to have Jizzle James back. For one of the best names in college basketball, and the two, he's also a phenomenal player, having 15 points, going 6 of 12 from the field. Dede Thomas had 19. At 19, Sincere Harris had 12. Then you have Mustafa Tiem with 5 and Baba Miller with 8. And then you also have Jalen Celestine with 12 off the bench. You guys shoot 43% from the field. UC shoots 43% from the field. 29% from the three-point line, 75% from the free throw line, getting 39 rebounds. Out-rebounding Iowa State 39-32. Iowa State had 12 turnovers. You had 8, so you led them in rebounds and had less turnovers than them. That's phenomenal. Iowa State shot 43% from the field, 43% from the three-point line, and 63% from the free throw line. Iowa State was led by Milan Momcilovic with 34 points and Joshua Jefferson with 16. Milan Momcilovic is a phenomenal player for Iowa State. He is a tough guy, averaging 18.2 points a game as a junior. He is phenomenal. And he also has a very cool name, Milan Momcilovic. I mean, who wouldn't want to have the name Milan Momcilovic? Who also wouldn't want to have the name Jizzle James? I mean, come on now. Come on. But Cincinnati gets a tough win. They go to 10-8. They are going to win a lot more games, though. Maybe even win out if they want to make March Madness. And right now, they got a tough win against one of the best teams in the Big 12. But it's going to be very hard for them to win out with the schedule that they have left remaining. Having to play Arizona today, actually. Having to play Arizona today at 9 p.m. Then having to play at Arizona. Also having to play at Houston on the 31st of January. Having to play at Kansas, at Texas Tech. I mean, those are 4 tough road games. Then you get BYU at home later on in the season. But again, those are all just tough games. But you guys did beat Iowa State. UC did beat Iowa State, and they got the job done. Also, Miami, Ohio is in the top 25 after beating Buffalo. They were down by 3 in regulation. They hit a 3 to tie the game with 0.4 seconds left on the clock. Buffalo can't do anything with it. Time goes. Game goes to overtime. What happens? The game is tied. And Miami hits a 3 to win it with 1.2 seconds left. Buffalo inbounds the ball. They make a heave, and it's nowhere close. And Miami wins and stays undefeated. And then against Kent State, they're down by 2. They're trying to send it to overtime again. Can they survive? Oh, yeah, they can. They make a layup to send it to overtime, and then it's all Miami from there, beating Kent State. Miami stays undefeated. The Redhawks are in the top 25. They're undefeated, and they're going to continue to move forward in the MAC. Will anybody be able to stop them? Vanderbilt also gets the second loss in a row, losing to Florida 98-94. Florida was led by none other than Xavier Lee and Ruben Chinyelu with both having 20 points. Tommy Hoff had 18, and Alex Condon had 16, and then Isaiah Brown off the bench had 14. They shot 52% from the field, 30% from the three-point line, 83% from the free throw line, 40 rebounds, and 10 turnovers. They out-rebounded Vanderbilt 40-26. Wow. That's a double-digit rebound margin. That is tough. It's tough to win games when you lose the rebound margin by double digits. Vanderbilt was led by none other than Tyler Tanner, the best player with 20 points, Duke Miles with 15, Tyler Nickel with 14, A.K. Okorike with 15, Devin McGlockton with 7, and then Jalen Washington with 14. They shot 51% from the field, 36% from the three-point line, 91% from the free throw line. So where do you lose this game? They also only had 4 turnovers, so they had less turnovers than Florida did. Where did they lose this game? It's really in the rebound margin. Also, Florida shot 30 free throws, you shot 22. They made 25 of 30, you went 20 of 22. So they made 5 more free throws than you did, shooting 8 more free throws than you did, winning 98-94. Florida's bouncing back really tough. They look like a tough team to beat. They look really good. UConn survives against Georgetown 64-62. The Hoyas gave them all they could have, but UConn being led by Terrence Reed Jr., who had 15 points, said, "Nuh-uh, not today, honey." Braylon Mullins had 11. Silas Demery had 12. Solo Ball had 10. Alex Caravan had 7. UConn shot 36% from the field. That is straight terrible. But you know what? They've got the defense to win games in that scenario. They shot 19% from the three-point line, 5 of 26. They put a blindfold on this whole game from the field, from the three-point line. They decided to shoot with their feet the whole game. Their hands tied behind their back, swaying around like this, just going like this, and they decided, we're gonna make this game as hard as ourselves as possible, and they still won. So maybe they'll continue to shoot with the blindfold on, shoot with their feet, and see if they can get better that way, instead of taking the blindfold off, untying their hands behind their back, and deciding to use the right hand or left hand, whichever hand they are. They shot 71% from the three-point line. Georgetown was led by KJ Lewis, who had 12 points, Malik Mack, who had 11, and Vince Iwuchukwu, who had 12. You're gonna ask me, how can I say Iwuchukwu, but not say some other names like in the NFL or any other basketball games? I've heard his name pronounced many times. That's the reason why. It's also kind of straightforward to read it too, even once you've heard it pronounced. Iwuchukwu. Jeremiah Williams had 10 off the bench. They shot 44% from the field, 36% from the three-point line, 78% from the free throw line. So when you look at the percentages, you would think Georgetown won this game because their field goal percentage higher, three-point percentage higher, free throw percentage higher. The difference is UConn took more attempts and everything. Both teams made 5 threes. Now I have water dripping down my face. Hold on. Both teams made 5 threes. UConn made 4 less field goals than Georgetown did. But both teams, and then they also made 10 more free throws than Georgetown. Georgetown only had 9 free throw attempts. UConn had 24. So that's kind of where this game goes. And then UConn's defense is just good enough to force you to turn the ball over 13 times, to where Georgetown turned the ball over 13 times and UConn only turned the ball over 6. Georgetown did out-rebound UConn, though, 40-34. But, Dan Hurley, he's a phenomenal coach. He's got his teams ready, even in games like this, to win. And they win again, and they move on to continue to being one of the best teams in college basketball. Even if they lost the game, they'd be one of the best teams in college basketball. John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks, so they traveled to Georgia, and they don't do what they needed to do and win. They get their butts handed to them. They lose 90-76 on the back of Jeremiah Wilkinson having 20 points, Blue Kane having 18, and Cannon Catchings having 15 for Georgia. Samto Cyril also had 6, and Jordan Ross had 9. Then you have Jake Wilkins off the bench with 11. Georgia shot 46% from the field, 36% from 3, 88% from the free throw line. They got out-rebounded 35-43, but they still won. They had 1 less turnover than Arkansas did, but Arkansas's field goal percentage was 40%, 24% from the three-point line, going 5-21, and 81% from the free throw line. They were led by none other than their phenomenal freshman Darius Acuff Jr., who had 20 points. Billy Richmond had 12. Trevor Brazile had 8. Nick Pringle had 3 and 4. And DJ Wagner had 4. Besides 2 players on your starting roster, you didn't get double digits from anyone else. And besides Billy Key, who went on the bench with 12, you need more production on players. I think Thomas had 9. Again, from the three-point line, take the blindfold off. Stop shooting with your left hand if you're right-handed. Stop shooting with the right hand if you're left-handed. Stop trying to shoot with one hand tied behind your back, one hand like this. You shot 5 of 21. Maybe use your guide hand still. Take your hand out from tied behind your back. Take the blindfold off. Stop trying to be like, Michael Jordan, trying to see if you can shoot with your eyes closed, thinking maybe you like doing that. I don't know, but maybe try doing that. And your percentage might go up. And I think it did, because I'm pretty sure they won last night. I think they played. I think they whooped whoever they played last night. BYU loses to Texas Tech 84-71 after BYU comes back late to take the lead. Texas Tech says, we're taking it right back, and then we're going to run away with it. Texas Tech was led by none other than JT Toppin, 27 points, and Christian Anderson with 22. But then who else stepped up for Texas Tech? Lawan Watts had 20, and Jalen Petty had 10. They got 0 points off their bench, but they said, we don't need you today. You guys can take a little bit of a nap. We don't need you. We'll get it done on the offensive side and defensive side with our starters. And that's fair that their bench only had 6 minutes, 2 minutes, and 3 minutes for the 3 players that played. They shot 46% from the field, 38% from the three-point line, 83% from the free throw line. Out-rebounding BYU 36-35, and then also having 2 less turnovers than BYU at 10 to BYU's 12. BYU was led by none other than Robert Wright III, who had 28 points. He's a phenomenal point guard. He was phenomenal. He was really good at Baylor in his freshman year. He's been even better at BYU this year. after he transferred. Richie Saunders had 18. A.J. DeBonce had 13. When A.J. DeBonce only gets you 13 when he averages 22, that's a sign that you probably won't win that game. Now, it's also to help with that, A.J. DeBonce was probably getting guarded by J.T. Toppin, who is a phenomenal specimen in college basketball. They shot 42% from the field, 23% from the three-point line, 86% from the free throw line. What is it with teams making 5 threes on Saturday? Saturday, going 5 of 22 or 5 of 21. Again, take the blindfold off, untie your hands from behind your back, wake up, get a little energy in you, make your threes. What are we doing? Especially with BYU, they're a better three-point shooting team than that. Take the blindfold off, unclose your eyes, open them wide so you can see what you're doing. What are we doing? North Carolina loses to California on the back of Scottie Pippen's son, Justin Pippen, with 19, John Camden with 20, Day Ames with 19. They shot 50% from the field, 54% from the three-point line, and 75% from the free throw line. Them in North Carolina tied a rebound at 34. They also had 2 more turnovers than North Carolina, of their 13 turnovers to North Carolina's 11. So what went wrong for North Carolina? Well, you got outshot on the field and the three-point line and the free throw line. You had 46. North Carolina shot 46% to California's 50% from the field. North Carolina shot 33% from the three-point line to California's 54%. And they shot 61% from the free throw line to California's 75%. North Carolina was led by Caleb Wilson with 17, Henry Baystar with 14, Derek Dixon with 14, and Seth Trimble with 12. But the most points off their bench was 7 for Luka Bogovic, and Zayden High had 6, Jonathan Powell had 3, and Jaden Young had 5. That is not a winning recipe to success off your bench, and that is how you lose that game. Also on Saturday, you had Arizona beating UCF in a close one, surviving late though, taking the lead late, commandingly, 84-87. You have Michigan beating Oregon 81-71, Purdue beating USC 69-64 in another close contest. Duke beating Stanford 80-50, Nebraska beating Northwestern 77-58, Gonzaga beating Seattle U 71-50. Who would have thought Gonzaga beat Seattle U? I didn't see that coming. I thought Gonzaga would have lost. No, Gonzaga plays in the WCC every year because that's their conference, and they always dominate it because they're the best team in the conference. I mean, it's light work for them. It's easy. If you expected Gonzaga to lose to Seattle U, you are crazy. Again, I didn't see it coming. No, I did. Obviously, you see Gonzaga winning their conference games, and you see it coming like nothing. I mean, like you see breakfast or lunch coming in throughout the day, and you see dinner coming later at night, and then you see yourself going back to sleep later. Michigan State beat Washington 80-63. Minnesota lost to Illinois 77-67. Virginia beat SMU 72-68, and they are doing very good in their first full year without Tony Bennett, because Tony Bennett retired last year right before the season started. So he was there throughout the offseason. They retired right before the season started, and they're looking good this year without Tony Bennett. Alabama beats Oklahoma 83-81, another close one. Louisville whoops Pittsburgh 100-59. Clemson beats Miami 69-59. Grand Canyon beats Utah State 84-74. And Butler beats Seton Hall. Today in college basketball, we are going to have some great games. But first, let's talk about yesterday. Michigan beat Indiana 86-72. UCLA beat Purdue 69-67, handing Purdue another loss in another upset game. Purdue struggled that game. UCLA did not. And that's how they won't come out on top 69-67. Iowa State gets their first win after losing 2 in a row, winning 87-57 against UCF. Michigan State beats Oregon in a game that was close at halftime, 28-26, but then pulling away late, 68-52. Texas Tech beats Baylor 92-73. Vanderbilt loses a third game in a row to Arkansas, 68-93. Arkansas handed Vanderbilt their loss on a silver platter. Florida dominates LSU 79-61. NC State upsets Clemson at NC State in overtime, 80-76. Kansas beats Colorado in a close one, 75-69. Georgia beats Missouri, 74-72 in a close one. St. Louis, who is now ranked also with Miami, beats Duquesne, 81-77. And then, like I said, Miami beat Kent State, 107-101. And then today in college basketball, you have some great games. You have Maryland, Illinois, Notre Dame, North Carolina, Cincinnati and Arizona, Washington, Nebraska. You have Kentucky and Texas. You have Gonzaga and Pepperdine. I wonder who's going to win that game, Gonzaga or Pepperdine. That's going to be a close one, isn't it? Or is Gonzaga just going to win by like 30 because they play in the WCC, and again, they're the best team in the WCC? Probably win by 30. But, who knows? It's a WCC, right? I almost said www.com. It's a WCC, right? Who knows? No, Gonzaga will win. But, we have a great week of sports ahead of us, great week of college basketball. We had a great past weekend of national championship and NFL playoffs in college basketball, and that continues to go on forward through college basketball, the NFL playoffs. You have college baseball coming up at the beginning of February. You have spring training coming up at the beginning of February, and you have the Olympics coming up at the beginning of February. Sports are fantastic. They always continue to keep going. They never cease to amaze us, and it's always fun to watch and talk about. God bless you guys. That's Game Talk 24/7. Thank you guys for watching.